In this video, we're going to go over what colitis is in simple, easy to understand terms with nice visuals. We're going to go over its symptoms, and I'm going to tell you how they go about diagnosing it to kind of help you figure out if you have colitis or not. My name's Mike, the Heal Your Gut Guy, and I used to have a really bad colitis and Crohn's disease. So I had inflammation both in my colon and my small intestine. But now I eat whatever I want. I don't have any symptoms. I don't look like a skeleton anymore. I'm not running to the bathroom 10, 20 times a day because I addressed the root cause. And I show people how I did that in my 13-day protocol. I take you through all the steps that I did. I have a free version of this in my webinar. It'll be down in the comments. So colitis, in order to know if we have it or not, we should understand what this word means. So it's a Latin word, and the first word is, the root of the word is colon. So we have the small intestine, which, the stomach breaks down our food. It comes into here, it starts to digest it, then it starts to get digested and absorbed in the small intestine. Then it gets into the colon, where the colon doesn't really digest food. It's really only absorbing leftover water, and most of the nutrients have already been taken out of the stool. So it's really absorbing only water out of our stool. And so this colon, the last part of the intestines, is inflamed. Itis means inflammation. Now, most people don't know what inflammation is, including your doctor, including the naturopathic person you're listening to. They're going to talk to it from this frame of mind of, like, hey, we got to suppress the inflammation. This inflammation is bad. You need to take anti-inflammatory drugs, or you need to eat anti-inflammatory foods. It's bad, 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 bad. So if I hit my arm, right, it's going to become inflamed to heal the injury. Inflammation is how the body heals. So a better question we need to start asking ourselves is not like, how do I suppress the inflammation in my gut? But instead it needs to be, how do I stop injuring my gut so it stops becoming inflamed all the time? So the question becomes, what is injuring my gut? And for a long time, I thought it was food, but it's actually something else. I'm going to share that with you in a little bit. So we're first going to go over, what are some colitis symptoms? So diarrhea and urgency is going to be one of the most common symptoms. So these are lined with muscles. The colon is aligned with, the whole intestine is aligned with muscles. And when we get diarrhea, remember, our brain controls our whole body. So the brain tells the colon to collapse. It tells all the muscles to collapse. And then there's up and down muscles and side to side muscles, and it just pushes the poop out of your body. Your brain is pushing all the poop out of your body really fast. The brain is doing that. Okay? So diarrhea is really common, but the problem, you can't just go off of diarrhea, because diarrhea could be caused by the small intestine or the large intestine. And if you want to know if you have colitis, you can't just go off. It could be either or. So diarrhea is kind of like a maybe. Urgency and diarrhea kind of like a maybe. It could be colitis, but it's not for sure. Then we also have bloating, which is the opposite, constipation and bloating, which is the opposite of diarrhea. And now I'm just gonna be open to what I'm about to tell you. So what's actually, diarrhea, it's crap I want to get rid of. So I used to play like old Nintendo and Super Nintendo, and it used to like not work. Like you had to like blow on the Nintendo cartridges and stuff like that, and be really frustrating. And I didn't have a lot of time to play. So I'd always get frustrated as a kid and go, God, this thing is such a piece of crap. And then the brain goes, oh, there's crap you need to get rid of? I'll help you. And it, but on the other hand, if there's something like I see some girls do this, like there's this guy that they really like, but he's, not paying attention to her, or he just dumped her. I want to hold on to this. Oh man, he looks so tasty. I want to hold on to this guy, but I can't. And I'm fearful about it. And that's when constipation comes in. It stretches out to hold more stuff, and the muscles actually clamp down at the rectum, and all the other muscles up, but it clamps down at the rectum, and there's less, it's taking up more room, and we're bloated. But the problem with constipation and bloating is that it could be caused by the small intestine or the large intestine. So, question mark there, not sure. Same thing with cramping. The muscles are cramping anywhere in the small or large intestine. Pain could be anywhere. It's like this, right? Am I doing this right? So it's like this, but then the small intestine is so it's really hard to pinpoint. Like if you have pain, it's really hard to tell if the pain is in the small intestine or the large intestine. So we've got to put a question mark near that. Fatigue, it could be either or. It can be caused by the small intestine going in and out of overdrive, or the large intestine going in and out of overdrive. Blood and mucus, on the other hand. Now, what Dr. Hammer discovered with people with colitis, they had a ring in their brainstem in the same location every single time. And he discovered it was caused by a conflict shock, a stressful event that caught us off guard. And in the conflict active phase, there would be cell proliferation. So there'd be a growth here. And those would be a polyp on your colonoscopy. So the best way to diagnose colitis is they stick a camera up your butt, they call it a colonoscopy, and they look for inflammation. And if it's bleeding, they call it ulcerative colitis. If they look at the tissue under if they don't see anything and they look at the tissue under a microscope, they go, and then they see that the tissue is like damaged under a microscope, then they call it like microscopic colitis. But there can also be flat growths, which help with absorption. These help with digestion and these help with absorption. And now it's like, oh, this guy, he's such a piece of crap, I can't get rid of him. And then when you actually get rid of him, I worked with a gay guy once, and he was dating another guy who was super toxic. And he couldn't get rid of him. He's like, no, I love you, don't leave me. And when he finally got rid of the piece of crap, that is when he saw blood in the toilet for the first time. He saw the blood and the mucus in the toilet for the first time. And now when someone has colitis, the blood and the mucus is usually more bright red, and the mucus is like very easy to see. But if the blood is like dark red and it's mixed into the stool, then it's probably from the small intestine. So like the more bright and bold the mucus is easier to see. It's probably, something's probably going on in this part of the colon. But if it's happening here or in the small intestine, a lot of the times if it's in the small intestine, it's very hard to see the blood just because it gets reabsorbed in the intestines, or the blood comes out super dark or it's very hard to see the mucus just because it gets mixed into the stool. But when the blood is really bright red and easy to see and there's mucus, it's usually there's inflammation going on in the colon. And the way that they check the small intestine is with, they usually do it with an MRI. They could do it with a capsule endoscopy, but that seems to be kind of rare for whatever, because it probably makes too much sense, because it just scans the whole entire digestive system. So this is what colitis is. It's inflammation of the colon due to a stressful event in your life that you're still haunted by on a subconscious and subconscious level, or mostly subconscious level, that keeps putting your gut in and out of overdrive, in and out of overdrive, in and out of overdrive. Now I know this sounds crazy, but it was actually common knowledge in pre-1970s. Common knowledge. And for a lot of you, it's going to be super obvious, but for me, it was not. And it's because it's buried in the subconscious mind. Now, I have made my 13-day protocol with a certified hypnotist, an NLP expert, that is really good at helping you find this conflict, this traumatic event that put your gut into overdrive, and then it has day-by-day exercises that you do to untraumatize yourself on the subconscious level, so we stop putting our gut in and out of overdrive, so we can digest our food again and put some healthy meat on our bones. I have a free version of this. It will be down in the comments, and it's my webinar. It's like a free summarized version of this to help you guys out for free. It is much better than other courses, holistic courses out there that are trying to suppress the healing response, and it's absolutely free. So go check that out. And if you have a second, leave a comment and tell us what was the traumatic event that put your colon into overdrive, or put your gut into overdrive. You're probably watching this, you probably don't know what you have. But this will help even if you don't know what condition you have.